Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for tonight's webinar, Preparing for Summer Orientation. My name is Lisa Commendatore, the Director of Student Orientation and Parent and Family Programs. Joining me tonight is my colleague, Susan Brown, the Associate Director of Parent and Family Programs, and we are looking forward to welcoming you to campus this summer. Now, we're all in this webinar because of the students. And so it's most appropriate to acknowledge that this group of students are among one of the most academically talented classes ever to enter Northeastern University. And so congratulations to our students, as well as for the parent and family members for all of their support through that process. So first this evening, we're going to go through the agenda. We will review student and parent and family programs, the program schedules, registration and fees, travel, accommodations, what to bring to orientation, what's next, and stay on task, what preparation needs to occur over the summer months, as well as important dates for planning and welcome week and how to stay connected through the next 4 or 5 years. And so why orientation? Orientation provides both the students and the families resources and tools for a smooth transition into our community. It also provides time for the students to meet new friends and get acclimated to campus and confirm fall courses. For the parents, the faculty and staff will assist you throughout the years. There's many times throughout orientation that you'll have the opportunity to network with other families. And basically our goal is to help you stay connected and informed, not only now, but throughout the many years of your student's career at Northeastern. And so first we're going to get started with an overview of the student program. Now we have obviously the student program and the parent and family program. They're completely separate, and so literally from the time that we welcome all of you on the morning of the first day, from that point on we'll separate the students from the parents and we'll run concurrent programs. And so for the student program, some of the themes that you'll see occur throughout are academic, community, campus services and resources, student involvement and engagement, and the global and experiential experiences. And so beginning with the student program, academic, every student will be meeting with their academic college as well as with all of the classmates within their college. In addition to the welcomes, there will be an advising session as well. A common question is if in fact the students will meet individually with advisors. Where some of you may already experience, most of the colleges will send a pre-online advising email. And during that survey link that lies within the pre-online advising, that will help feed students into classes. And so by the time they come to orientation, the majority of their schedule is in place, but they will have the opportunity to meet with someone. It could be their advisor that they'll see throughout the years at Northeastern, or it could be an advisor just that lies within the college. And at that time, that's when the student will confirm the classes and possibly select some electives. And then obviously community. It's important that the students have a smooth transition into our community, that they are fully aware of what the Northeastern student is and the expectations of a Northeastern student, that they are respectful students and they are open to diversity and inclusivity, and that's the underlying theme throughout that theme of community. They will hear from Housing and Residential Life and the Office of Student Conduct and Conflict Resolution. Residential Life will be a key presentation on the resources within their residential life and housing, and also the programming that takes place to help with their transition and have them help meet other students while they're here. Northeastern University Police Department will go over helpful hints, safety on campus. And then we have the orientation leader group sessions. And so on an average week, we'll host about 350 to 400 students. And within that 350 and 400 students, we may be representing 3 or 4 different colleges. And so in an effort for the students to meet future classmates, we will break them down by college into small groups of 20. And then each group will have an orientation leader. And there will be certain times throughout the program that they're all together working on, it could be a social activity or an exercise. And then we have campus resources and services, and this is an opportunity for the students to basically know what is available on campus for them. And so we have university health and counseling services that will present during the health and wellness, Know Your Title IX, and Disability Resource Center, and Husky Card options and dining services. And then we go into, the student that has the most successful transition is one that will get involved on campus and engage. Obviously there are some students that will get involved in many clubs and organizations or community service, and there will be others that will choose to engage in one. But we find that the student who is engaged is the student who is happy and has a successful transition. And so the Center of Community Service and the Center for Student Involvement, Student Activities Fair, and Evening Social Activities. These are all different ways that the students will be learning how to get involved. And so as a part of orientation, we will actually have a fair that will represent about 250 clubs and organizations on campus. Overall, we have over 400 active clubs and organizations, and when the students return to school in September, we'll have a fair called Fall Fest, and at that time all 400 plus will be represented. And then also, of course, orientation is not only to gain resource information and get their advising and their course schedule. It's more about the students. We offer a lot for different interests, and so we will offer sand volleyball, dodgeball. We'll have a huge ice cream social. The Resident Student Association will host that, and we'll have Ben & Jerry's for about 500. And then we also have an after-hours club where we have a dance party. And for those who may not want to involve themselves in activities like that, we also have some lower key activities such as board games in the residence hall. And then I'm going to now turn it over to Susan, who is going to talk a bit about parent orientation.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks again for joining us and learning more about orientation. I'm going to be talking with you about our freshman parent and family orientation. So the program is a 2-day session, begins on a Monday and a Tuesday. The program is not mandatory, but we do hope you will participate. I always tell parents, a lot of parents say, do I really have to participate in orientation? And I always think that by the time they go through the program, that at the second day they're so happy that they spent time on campus, even though you will not be with your students, but you get a feel of what the campus is like, what the city that your student's going to be living in. So we really do encourage you to attend. So our first day, it is a Monday-Tuesday program, but parents and students can check in early on Sunday. There is the early arrival option. They can check in between 3 and 9 p.m. And during that Sunday evening, we have a dinner for the parents and students, and then we also have some social activities, both for the parents and students that they can take part in. Those activities, though, are separate, so the parents are doing one activity and the students will be doing another. On Monday, our program begins. You will check into where our registration site is, and you will be receiving information on that. We will offer continental breakfast in the morning, and then our program begins at 8:15 in the morning. So our program schedule is posted online, and I'm going to go through a sampling of it, what it is like. But if you have not registered for parent orientation, you can, of course, call our office if you need an assistance. So the next slide is a sample schedule. Please keep in mind this is just a draft schedule, and it is subject to change, but I want parents to get a feel of what they will be doing during the 2 days here. So as I mentioned, check-in is between 7 and 8:15 in the morning. That is where you'll come in and just tell us you're here. We'll give you some registration materials, and then we offer a continental breakfast. The very first session is our Welcome to Northeastern University. This session is combined with the students, so this is the only time that you will be together. A lot of parents come and think that they will be with their students, but keep in mind they're two separate programs. So after the welcome session, you will go your own way, and one of the next sessions is our academic welcome session, where you will meet with representatives from your student's college major. After that, we'll have our Parents as Partners. This is a session that I will be leading in the morning, and during that time, we talk about different services and resources that we provide to you throughout the year and how you can get involved in Northeastern and the community. Next will be the Building the Northeastern Community. It talks a lot about where your students will be living, what was expected of them when living in the university residence halls. Then there'll be lunch. You'll hear from our Health and Wellness Department. Then our Husky Cards and Dining Services. This is where you'll learn about, different meal options and what they recommend, how many meals your students should get. And they'll also talk to you about the different dining locations. At 2:30 on Monday, we will have Orientation Service Express. This is a time where some of the outside vendors come to campus, some area banks, if you ever need to sign up for a student bank account. We also have a lot of the departments that you have heard throughout the day. University Health and Counseling Center. We have our insurance representative there with Blue Cross. And then it's anything that you just need to pick up in last minute, tidbits. In the evening, you will have some free time before dinner. And then at 7 p.m., we will be leading a Boston walking tour. This is really popular with the parents, so if you're planning on going, bring comfortable shoes. And it's about a 2-mile walk through the city, kind of takes you down near Prudential and Copley and shows you some sites that a lot of the students attend and just, get you familiar with the city. After that, even if you don't go on the walking tour, you're more than welcome to have it. Between 8 and 9 o'clock, we will be hosting a parent dessert reception. This is kind of a chance just for you to unwind and talk about the day, meet with other parents. I will be at the reception. If you have last-minute questions, I'll be there. We'll have student orientation leaders there. And it really is good networking because a lot of times you'll meet someone here and then you'll see them again when you come back for our family and friends weekend. So day 2, we start early, 7 to 9 is breakfast. And then if you choose, we're also going to do between 8 and 10, we're going to do a family fitness walk. So if anybody would like to go for a walk with us, we hope you would join us. And then at 9, we will do a public art tour. This is some of the art that is on campus. Many of you that have visited us, you'll see quite a few art displays on some of down near Ruggles and down near the parking lot. So we'll be touring some of the campus most popular art. And then at 10, we will do a transition tips, and it's Ask an Orientation Leader. This is a really popular session. Our orientation leaders will be part of a panel, and it gives you an opportunity to ask them, what is it really like to be a student on campus, and what are the needs that your students need? What do they need to bring to campus? Do you feel safe on campus? So it's your chance to ask any question that you want, and they give you an honest perspective of what it's like to be a student on campus. Then if you need to speak to our Student Financial Services Department, they will be doing a presentation, followed by Career Development and Employer Engagement. And then finally, we will have lunch, and then this is a very interesting presentation. It's not a presentation, but it's something that you can learn more about around the world and different opportunities that your student can take part in, like Dialogues with Civilizations and Study Abroad programs. I think you'll really find it fascinating because so many of our students do go abroad, and it really gives you a good perspective of what your student can look forward to. And we will have a little family break room, so for those of you, if you kind of need a break time just to gather your thoughts or meet with another parent, we will have someone there, our student orientation leaders, to ask any questions. It's just a little lounge that we'll have going for you where you can have some snacks and just meet with other parents. And then our public art tour, we'll be offering that. And then finally, you can go meet and greet with some of our cultural centers. And then following that, your students will be at advising at that time, and then that's when you can kind of gather a location to meet and check out. As I said, I really think you will find the 2 days very informative, and you'll be glad to come visit Northeastern.
And, just to tack on to everything that Susan just reviewed, the parent and family program, as Susan said, is optional, but we encourage you to attend. But it's also, you can come and go as you please, even though it's a very structured 2 days. We know that some families are doing this for the first time and that they are participating in everything that we're offering them, and there are other families that may be doing this for the fourth time, and they're coming to support their student, but may have lay of the land and just pop into different sessions as they choose. And so it's really whatever it is that you want to make it. Now we're going to move a little bit forward on the registration and the fees associated with orientation. So by this point, most students have registered for their orientation session. It was on a first-come, first-served, and in each student's portal were very specific dates that their college are hosting an orientation. Also in the student portal is where they can register 2 complimentary guests, whether they are family members or parents, and sometimes we have grandparents that attend as well. And so your student would go into their portal under Service Links tab and then click on Orientation under the newly admitted students. The student can go in and out of this RSVP as many times as they'd like. And so, if in fact your student registered for one session and the plans have changed and they'd like to look at another session to see if it's available, they can go in. They can go in and register, 2, 3 guests, as many guests as they'd like. But again, then if they change their mind that one parent is unable to attend, they can go in and take that parent out. And so you can go in and out of the student portal as many times. Family members can register, as I said, in the student portal, or like Susan said, they can call our office and we would be happy to do it by phone. Now with the student orientation, there are no associated fees throughout the entire, 2 or 3 days. And so the student, it includes their campus housing, all of their meals, complimentary overnight parking, and any program costs. And that means, obviously when we're hosting the ice cream social, there's no cost associated. There are times where if in fact the student attends as an early arrival, meaning that they come in on the Sunday prior to Monday because the Monday morning starts so early, we'll take the students into Boston and we'll do some fun activities with them in the city, and again, everything is covered through our office. Now, for the parent and family program, there are no fees associated with 2 complimentary guests, and so that includes all of the guest meals, parking, and program costs. But if in fact there's a third guest above the complimentary, the 2 complimentary, then there will be additional fees. For the third guest, it would be $100. And then, of course, if in fact the guests would like on-campus housing, then there's a small fee attached to the overnight. And so again, no fees associated with students, no fees for the parent and family members who are just attending the program and not staying on campus. And so you'll receive all of this information shortly in a confirmation. But if you are traveling by car, as I said, you have complimentary day and overnight parking. You have to park in the 795 Columbus Avenue parking garage. We recently sent a guide to orientation to the students at their home address, and in that guide And in a couple of minutes, you'll see actually what it looks like, so you can maybe ask your student to share the brochure with you. And basically, there's a parking pass in there. If, in fact, for whatever reason, the guide wasn't received yet and your orientation session is coming up, everything is on our website and you can download one. And you'll place it on your dashboard as you enter the garage. You can come and go in the garage as you please over the course of those few days. If, in fact, you're taking a taxi or an Uber, from the airport or from wherever, you should ask them to take you to the corner of Huntington Avenue and Forsyth Street. At this corner, if you are dropped off there, that's the point where you'll pick up signage that will lead you to the student check-in and the parent check-in. A lot of times you'll see on any type of mailing or brochure or even just the university address as being 360 Huntington Avenue. But 360 Huntington Avenue is the entire university address, and so you probably would not be dropped off at the correct point. And so ask for Huntington Avenue and Forsyth Street. And then again, if you're coming in from airport or the train station, obviously you can take a taxi or Uber or you can take our subway system. And so campus is accessible through the green line as well as the orange line. But they both put you directly on campus. If you take the green line, that stop is a bit closer to the registration and check-in, but nonetheless, both will place you on campus. And then for those who are making flight arrangements, on that second day, we suggest that flights shouldn't be any earlier than, I would say, 5:30, 6 o'clock. The second day, as Susan mentioned, ends with the students in their academic advising, and the student has been seen and they're all set and classes are confirmed. And so some students may be done at 2 o'clock and other students may be done at 3 o'clock. And so just to give you some time, we suggest 6 p.m. If in fact you're staying on campus, this is a list of what it is that you can bring. And so just take note, especially for parents who are residing on campus, that you and your student are staying in separate locations. And so the students are going to stay in a typical freshman residence hall. They will be paired with another student, and it's going to be a random student. Sometimes they'll ask if it will be their roommate. It won't be their roommate. It will just be another orientee who is attending. The residence halls are not air conditioned for the students, which is something to note. And so definitely all of the students participating in our webinar today, check the weather prior to coming, and that will help you with your packing. Make sure that you bring a government or state issued photo ID. This is required in order to get your Husky card ID. Comfortable shoes and clothing. It's very casual, and so whatever you feel comfortable in, that's what you should bring. If in fact you do want to participate in any type of physical activity, whether it's in the Marina Center or playing volleyball, please make sure that you bring some athletic footwear and clothing that's appropriate for that. Always bring a light jacket or sweater because you will be in air condition throughout the day, and sometimes that can get chilly, and sometimes the evenings can get chilly as well. If I remember correctly, last June, we actually had some of the evenings go down into the 40s. And so that's why I say, check the weather, because that will, really assist you with what you'll bring. And, for the students, if you have a small fan and you know that it's going to be hot, especially on those July days, definitely bring a mini fan that will help you while you sleep. And personal toiletries. We'll provide you bed linens, pillows, and towels, but you should bring personal toiletries. And then for the parents, just overall, if you're staying on campus, you definitely, again, you're going to be given the bed linens, pillows, and towels. But, bring your personal toiletries, an umbrella in case it rains, the light jacket. We will have extra blankets in the residence hall, but, if in fact you are someone who gets very cold from the air conditioning, it wouldn't hurt for you to bring, an extra blanket with you as you're packing. And as I said, check the weather. That's the best thing to do. Okay, so as I just mentioned, all of the students have been mailed a brochure over the course of the last couple of weeks. And most of the students it should have reached by now. And as you can see, it's the Husky 101 Guide to Orientation. And this is something that both the students and the family members should take a look at this time and prior to orientation. You can see off to the right we have a checklist in place, and it's really important that these tasks are completed in a timely fashion. And so, for instance, obviously the registration for orientation, the deadline is June 1st, and the majority of students are registered. The next thing that you want to take care of are the uploading of the photo for your Husky ID. And so students will need to go into their student portal, and in the student portal they'll be able to upload the photo, and then when they come to orientation they'll show their license and they'll be able to pick up their Husky ID. For whatever reason, if a student does not upload a picture prior to orientation, they are able to get their picture taken on campus while they're here. But it's a much smoother process if you do it ahead of time. Also, you'll need to go into your portal to choose your meal plan, register for health insurance, and so what will happen is Northeastern will automatically bill all students for Northeastern's health insurance. And so sometime in July, you'll receive your bill and you'll see a certain amount tacked onto it. And so if in fact you do not want the Northeastern health insurance, your student will have the opportunity to opt out of it as long as they're covered under your plan. And so that's something to be aware of. And, again, you're going to see this charge on your tuition bill. And so it's at that time that the student can go into their portal to opt out. And then there is also the immunization requirements. And so there's a form that needs to be downloaded from the University Health and Counseling website, and that form will need to be completed and signed by their doctor and by the student. And on the University Health and Counseling website, you'll actually see where the form needs to be sent. If in fact it's close to orientation, then you can just bring it with you and we'll take care of it and get it into the right hands. And then the students are required to read the First Pages book, and so every year the academics will choose a book, and there's additional information on the book and the author in this guide. The book this year is called Evicted. And then lastly, for the parents and family members, it's really important for you to register for the Parent and Family Portal. As Susan mentioned earlier, this is how you will receive the bills, and you'll also obviously have access to some of the students' information. Now, this checklist is a part of the guide, and along with the checklist is also step-by-step, every office is represented for the Husky Card ID. You'll go to the following page and it will tell the students exactly how to upload the Husky ID, for the health insurance, for the immunization, the university health report. All of this information is in the guide. If in fact the student, lives in one area and a family member lives in another area and doesn't have access to the hard copy of the guide, it's on our website. It's on our homepage, which is northeastern.edu/orientation. And so there's no problem. You'll have access to it as well as all of this information.
I know you all will find it very enjoyable. When Lisa was talking about orientation, I was thinking I had a son and daughter both go orientation, and you always tend to meet one of your best friends during orientation.
That's for sure.
So keep that in mind. It really is something to look forward to. So Welcome Week is a time that we have on campus where we offer over 100 programs for you to get involved with. So this is the week that you really want to get involved and take part in. So Welcome Week is September 1 through the 8th. It goes from the Saturday to Saturday. You will have a choice of many different academics, social. We have a lot of transitional programming for new students. And what happens during that time is on the weekend before, the students are here on campus, and some of the students will already have been moved in. We offer a lot of tours to the city. We have Fenway Park tours. A lot of our student groups do pizza parties and barbecues throughout the week. It just gives you a chance to really get involved. On September 4th, which is the Tuesday before classes, we do have many mandatory events that you do have to take part in Welcome Week, and that is the President's Convocation. It is First Pages that will take place at night, where you'll hear from the author of the book. And then on Tuesday in the afternoon, there are a lot of college welcomes that are mandatory that you have to take part in. So those are mostly the mandatory programs during Welcome Week. Other than that, everything is really optional. I always tell students, though, go to them. Go to as many as you can. Sure. It's your chance to meet students that way. Even if you go and there's only 3 people there, still go and, take part in it and learn to, be with those students. We also offer, tours of how to find your classes. We have a concert one night, and then we have a comedian hypnotist that's going to come to the campus. So there is something to do every day and every night. And then on Tuesday, Lisa mentioned this earlier too, although we have a lot of mandatory events, we also have Fall Fest, which is the kickoff of everything. It really is a tremendous event. It takes place all over the campus. There's different games to take part in. We have different novelty prizes that we do. You can meet with different groups. We'll have tables out there. So really take part and welcome us as much as you can. We will be putting the schedule up on our website and in our guidebook, which Lisa will talk about in a moment, and you'll be able to see what is taking part. So we're building the program, and it should be complete soon for you to see during the summertime.
I'm going to go back, but we didn't talk about accommodations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because a lot of family members will ask us, what would you suggest that we do? And it really is a personal preference. And so for those who like the amenities of a hotel, that is the link to a list of hotels, and it's by distance. And so we have, the ones that are literally a block from campus, which would be more expensive than if you went outside of the city by a few miles, which might be a bit less expensive. Our on-campus guest housing accommodations, what I'd like to say is this is a residence hall, and it does not have the amenities of a hotel. But on the flip side, it's a really great option. It's more economical, and it's very convenient, and especially if you don't have access to a car and you're flying in and you're placed on campus and everything is, at your fingertips. And so the guest housing is on a first-come, first-served basis. We have, I would say, probably about 80% of our housing is at capacity. And so if you're thinking about it, definitely you want to act quickly on it over the next few days. The on-campus guest housing is air-conditioned suites, and so it is a bedroom connected to a bathroom, connected to a bedroom. And so families will always be placed together in suites. If, in fact, you're a single attendee and you're a female single attendee, you could very well be placed with another single female attendee. So you'll each have your private bedrooms, but you'll share a bathroom and shower. As I just mentioned, it's on a first-come, first-served basis. You have to be pre-registered, and so the housing fills up rather quickly, and so it's nothing that you can just walk onto campus and ask for a room. And so definitely pre-register, and that is through the student portal in the orientation registration. And so there's all different combinations here. You can do Sunday to Monday, come in as an early arrival. And again, Susan went through the check-in times. It's in between 3 and 9 p.m. You'll have dinner that evening. We'll have an activity, the Boston Trolley Tour, I believe, for the families. And then on Monday morning, that's when the program will start. You can also stay Monday to Tuesday, and so if you stay from Sunday to Tuesday, it's $115 per person. Some folks, will only come in from Sunday to Monday, and others will come in for 2 nights, and some will come in from Monday to Tuesday. So whatever your preference is. And so we're going to go to some important dates for planning, and this is helpful information to both the student and the families.
I do want to keep you informed of what the first fall semester is going to look for you and what some of the things. I know parents think it's a long time, but let me tell you that fall semester goes by very quickly. In mid-June, that is when our housing assignments are going to be emailed to your students. Students will also get their move-in date during that time too. So they're going to get their housing assignment and the date that they will be moving in. And that information is supposed to be going out in mid-June. From then, classes start September 5th. That is a Wednesday. Our welcome week, as I mentioned, is September 1 through the 8th. And then a holiday weekend here, a lot of students look forward to this, is our Columbus Day will be October 8th. Our Family and Friends Weekend is going to take place October 26th, 27th, and 28th. I always like to tell parents, if you know that you are going to be coming to Family and Friends Weekend, please make your reservations early at hotels because the hotels fill up very quickly in the fall in the Boston area. November 12th will be Veterans Day. There is no classes. And our Thanksgiving Day break is now November 21 through the 23rd. So that is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There will be no classes for students during that break. I wouldn't suggest making any travel arrangements to come home because sometimes student classes end early on Tuesday, but we do know there is no classes on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. December 5th will be the last day of classes, and then from there we go on to our final exams, which take place December 7th and 14th. And winter break begins December 16th. I'm pretty sure the date that the students have to be out of the residence hall is the very last day of their finals. So they'll have their final schedules that will be posted in their portal early in the fall. So a student may not have a final on the 14th. They might want to have one on the 12th, and they'll be free to go home then. So you might want to hold off on making some arrangements on that. And then our winter break will begin December 16th, and we'll be back to spring classes on January 7th, 2019.
Which is a Monday, and so
Monday,
typically
okay,
the students, they'll move back in on Sunday, January 6th.
So that's the important date schedule. Also, if you want to see other dates for the academic year, if you go onto Northeastern's homepage and just type in search to the academic calendar, it will show you the academic calendar for the full next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So I know parents and students always look forward to that information. So Lisa's going to talk a little bit about the guidebook, and then we're going to talk about contact information if you have questions and concerns.
Okay, so in some of our correspondences with both the students and the parent and family members, we do have a mobile app, and it's really quite useful. Once you download it, you will have actually 3 different guides, and so there will be one for orientation, one for welcome week, and one for family and friends weekend. And as you can see, it provides you, not only with the orientation information, but also a lot with travel, Boston, the dates and academic calendars. I mean, it's really a handy app. Everything that we have on our orientation website is a part of the app. For the students, we will actually encourage them to download the app in order to get their orientation schedule, and opposed to paper when they come here. And so, we ask that they do that in advance, and we'll continue to promote that. And every week, for instance, if you're attending session A, then what will happen is 1 week out, you'll have session A in there. Once session A ends, which would be June 12th, then session B participants will be able to see the session B schedule. But that's a really useful tool. And as I said, then once orientation ends, it will be the Welcome Week guide, and everything will be accessible for the students. And obviously parents, even though Welcome Week is for the students, parents will also have access to that guide, and you can help your student pick out whatever they would like to participate in.
Yeah, and you are going to be receiving a confirmation letter for the students and parents.
Yes.
So all this information about check-in and where to go is going to be included in the letter that you're going to receive shortly.
Mm-hmm.
Gives information on the guidebook and that type of thing. So don't feel like you missed anything. It's all coming in a letter too. So
yeah, definitely. And then these are the different ways of staying connected to us. Obviously by phone, if we can help you in any way, whether it is now or it's throughout the year, please call us. Email address as well. We're pretty good with getting back with all families within 24 hours during the work week. Obviously, if we get one through the weekend, we'll respond when we resume business hours. And then the website, that is a key piece of information. Everything that was presented tonight is on the website, and so definitely use that as a tool as well. We are here in the office, and we're here to take calls should you have any questions or email us. But as I said, all of this information is on our website, and now that the webinar is concluding, we will ask you to complete a brief survey to provide us feedback on this evening's session, as well as share with us any suggested future topics that you may have interest in learning more about, even throughout the year as your student is going through this journey. I would say Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, you'll receive an email with the recording of this webinar, and it will also be posted on our website. And so thank you so much for your participation. We look forward to seeing you this summer, which
it's coming very up, so we're looking forward to it, and I hope you're as excited, both the students and parents.
Couple of weeks we'll see some of you, and so have a great rest of your evening, and thank you for joining us.